Last night, a star was born. Tonight, we'll talk all about it. This is Blue Monday. Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast covering all things Ipswich Town since 2015. My name is Mikey Penty-Smith, and joining me for this, it's a sort of post-match reaction after the event, isn't it? It's Seb Brown, fresh from Vale Park. Well, not quite fresh. Been back a little while now, haven't you, Seb? And over in Rushmere is David Diamond. How are you both? Getting up for work after a midweek victory is that much easier, isn't it?
It always feels nicer. Yeah, it does. You know, I've been to so many away days in the north where you're driving back and the M6 is closed and you've lost and it's rubbish. So although it was chucking it down on the way home last night, it's always much, much sweeter after a victory, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it? Absolutely, yeah. I remember painfully about, how many seasons would that be? 2008, going to Preston one night, bizarrely, just off, almost like a day or so before, thinking, that'd be a good idea. And seeing us take the lead for a DeVos header and obviously getting beat essentially by a 2-goal blast from Nugent. I think we lost 3-1. It was horrific drive back. And you say motorway closures. I think I got back at like 5 in the morning. It was just the worst. Never again.
And Seb, I gather you liked the stadium and the atmosphere, but maybe not the town.
Yeah, that's a fair way of putting it. We nearly missed the kickoff. It was a bit of a nightmare to get around. There was loads of traffic around the stadium itself, and you can see it really easily, but it's really a pain to get to. You're gonna have to walk way out of your way and come back and get to it. But the stadium itself, I thought was really decent. It's a bit strange. It's got like one kind of horse stand, grandstand, modern corporate to the right, and then you've got all their noisy fans to our left, which made for a really good atmosphere. Obviously, in the Telegram group recently, we've been talking, haven't we, about if you were to move away fans to the other end of the Cobbold and get them closer to the North Stand, would it improve the atmosphere at Portman Road? And I have to say, there it did work. And well, I guess we'll come on to the mental size of the pitch. I've never seen a pitch that big before. I mean, there was literally, well, not literally, but it felt like there was half a mile between the touchline and the stands. But no, it was a decent sized stadium. It was decent. I liked it.
And that might actually explain why no Port Vale fans ever sit behind the goal.
Yeah, maybe.
The away end and then the home end. There's nobody there, is there?
Nothing. Yeah, empty behind that goal. It's all to the left. All the die hard and the noises to the left of the away end, which, like I say, did make for a pretty decent atmosphere.
Absolutely. And there's going to be a great atmosphere on this live show tonight as well. We've got plenty of our regulars here watching. We've got Charlie D, evening, Charlie. Michael Warner, good morning all from Brisbane. That's always a bit of a kick in the teeth, isn't it, Dave?
That one
on October evening. Veronica says, hola.
Oh.
It's been, it's been in Port Vale, not
Port Vale, yeah.
Costa del Sol, but there we are. Charlie D, lots of love from Port Vale for us on Twitter, which is nice to see. That is quite refreshing, isn't it, Seb? Looking on the Ipswich timeline, there hasn't been any bickering or bad blood or saltiness.
No, it's nice, isn't it? And I've seen a few of the the football away days showing the great support last night, over 1,700 there, and quite a few of the comments on social media again are from Port Vale fans saying, we were absolutely class on a Tuesday night, because I'm very lucky. For me, it was an hour down the road. I think it's my closest one from Chester, but those poor guys, heading up from Suffolk, they wouldn't have got home till probably half two in the morning or so. So absolutely phenomenal support, and yeah, great to see from the Port Vale fans, who were very gracious.
Absolutely. Let's say hello to a few others. David Berging, hi guys, how are you doing? We're all great, aren't we, after a victory last night? Jim, Elmy, evening. Howard, FPL Tractor, DD Landline, Lottery, Clacton. It doesn't usually happen on a Wednesday night, does it, Dave?
Midweek FPL, yeah. Who knows? We'll see. I've got my eye on it. We'll see.
I'm guessing the phone rang at 9:07 on Sunday night, Dave.
Funny you should say that. It was about 9:15 actually, but I did have a chuckle. I did have a chuckle to myself. Yeah.
Brilliant. David Pascoe, evening chaps. Yeah, nice one, Michael.
Yeah,
30
right.
degrees
Well,
today.
it's been 20 degrees here. It's actually been 20 degrees here in Suffolk today, Mike. So, yeah, okay, not 30, but anyway.
Mild, isn't it?
Mild, balmy.
Here's a question for you. What's that Blue Monday top behind you, Seb?
Ooh.
That is my lovely Blue Monday hoodie from the merch store. If you go to bluemonday.itfc.co.uk, you'll find a link, and it's very warm. I can vouch for it. It's normal kind of fitting sizes. It's not like the Umbro kits that are all slim fit. It's lovely and warm, so highly recommend them. I think we've got free shipping on, or we have had recently. I don't know if it's still on. I might be wrong on that one, but we do various promo codes, and yeah, lovely and warm. Get them for the winter. It's way cheaper than putting your energy bills on.
Stick it on your Christmas list, David.
Get it in there.
So have one eye on you, one eye on Sheffield Wednesday, Bristol Rovers. Please do.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Sure, you'll all keep us updated. Going to be online for the first half at least, aren't we? And then we can catch the rest of it after this. And before we get into last night's game, Jim Elmy says he met some Port Vale fans after the game, and they were very friendly and complimentary about the team and our support. Yeah, real feel good vibes last night.
Did you sample any of the oat cake, Seb?
I didn't know. We were nearly that late getting there. We nearly missed the kickoff, so we had to go straight in there. Rich ventured off at one point to get some food, but he came back with a pie. So I don't know if they don't sell the oatcakes in the stadium, or he just didn't fancy it.
And blimey, thank you very much, David. You really don't have to. You could have bought a hoodie for that. But
on the merch, but bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, David, as always.
Thank you very much. FPL Tractor, those hoodies are very warm with energy bills going up, essentially pay for themselves. Absolutely. Jules is here as well. Evening, Mikey D. Evening, Jules. Right, let's get into the game. I hope you were there early enough to hear Robbie Williams. Let me entertain you, Seb.
Nope, missed that.
No, you missed that.
We literally got there with about a minute to go. I think it was. We had to. It was pretty busy as well the away end, so we had to keep working our way down the stand to find an entrance. So we literally got there probably 1 minute before the game kicked off.
Not live, surely.
Well, you feel like, Dave, if Ed Sheeran would have made good of the rumour and came and performed at Portman Road on Friday night, maybe Robbie Williams would have returned the favour.
How good would that have been? Oh my goodness!
Ed Sheeran is at least back in the country at the moment. He was at the Wilford Bridge, Dave, of all places.
He spotted? Yeah.
I think on his social media there was a picture of him with some of the staff.
You can't beat a Deebin in, can you, Mikey? You can't beat a good old Deebin in, mate.
I think, what is it? Steak and suet pudding and skate wing is usually on offer there when you drive up to Woodbridge Golf Club.
Yeah, we like that. We like
so
that.
Let's get into the lineups for last night, and there was a lot of changes again. Most of them enforced. Humphreys and Ball partnered together, as many of us predicted. No huge surprises this time, but overall, what were your thoughts, Seb? I'm guessing you were probably driving when the team news came out.
Yeah, Rich got it up on the phone and read it out to me. I was really pleased to see Edwards get a start. I figured Ladapo would come in up top, given the physicality, and McKenna said pre-match, we know we're going to be in for a bit of a scrap and a bit of a battle. So I kind of figured Ladapo would come back in. I thought it would be Harness and Chaplin as the two number 10. So I was quite happy to see Carl Edwards there, because he's had a really decent few weeks. And like you say, Ball and Humphreys in the middle just picks itself, given the lack of alternatives. And we know the back three or the back five, however you want to look at it these days, is going to be set in stone. So no real surprises, but I was really happy to see Edwards get a run out, because I've been really impressed with him recently, and I thought he played well, which we'll come on to.
Absolutely. And that Port Vale team as well, there's one name that jumps out straight away, isn't there? Ellis Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, Ellis Harrison, I suppose James Wilson, ex-Man U. I mean, I didn't realise. I knew he'd played for Man U, but he played like 20 games, they said on iFollow last night. So, I mean, he's had what a start that was, and actually did break through for a little while. I must admit, Gavin Massey, I know from Colchester, but I've got to say the rest of the team, I hate to say it, kind of passes me by, really.
I think Mark Beck in the Telegram chat might not have been Mark. Apologies if this was somebody else. Said that we needed to keep David Worrell quiet.
He did,
and there was parts of the game where we definitely didn't. So you can see that he's a decent player, isn't he?
Yeah, but he was impressive. Yeah, right, at times. Yeah, he was good.
And there was one little thing about Port Vale. Obviously, this came later, but there was a sub came on called Politic who played on the right wing. Dave
saw that. Yeah. Did see that. How very apt in these current days, and obviously a Coldplay track as well, I believe. But there you go.
Yeah, off their second album, I believe.
Indeed, it is.
There we go. This bringing the pop master vibes, even without
Hell yes.
Craig Fimbo, who's currently in Rome, I believe.
He was pictured at the Colosseum earlier today, I think. young Oscar proudly wearing his Ipswich shirt, as he would after a 3-2 win at Port Vale. I'm sure the locals congratulated him on that.
Absolutely. But I think Rome, Dave, has its own football radio station that runs 24/7.
That's it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. It's a bit lively, isn't it? Lazio Roma is full on, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and it was a fairly lively start from us last night at Vale Park, moving away from the Stadio Olimpico. Ladapo looked lively, had a bit of a weak low shot saved by the Vale goalkeeper, and at the other end, a real let-off. Seb Harrison heads wide from a Worrell cross.
I thought it was better. Yeah, I thought he should have hit the target at the very least. The cross comes in deep, and he just gets a bit of a run on Burns, and he's strong. You know what you're going to get from Harrison. I'd forgotten how much he kind of hangs in the air to win the ball. Obviously, we only saw him for whether it was 15, 20 games maybe. I kind of forgotten what he gave you, but given the form he's been in recently, I think he's scored half their goals or something crazy. 7 out of the 15 or 16 they've scored have come from him. I thought it was in when I saw him make the contact with the ball, and I think that was a little bit of a let off, and it kind of showed what was to come with the crosses, because we didn't really stop the crosses all evening. We'll come on to the goals and stuff that we conceded, but for me, I thought he should have done a little bit better with that, especially given the form that he's in.
That was a superb cross from Worrell, wasn't it? Because he's sort of on the run, he sort of gets out of his feet and sort of whips it in quite early. It's a brilliant ball, and yeah, he should do better. Atkins said on iFollow, if you track his run, he sort of comes into it not straight. He sort of comes onto the ball at an angle, and he thinks he just gets it wrong. But he's got to score from there.
Absolutely, maybe one of Atkins's better observations from last night's co-commentary.
Do you know what I thought? Overall, he was pretty good, didn't you? I thought he was all right.
Anything but Matthew for me, Dave.
Whoa, yeah. I think had you tuned into Suffolk last night, that would have been your summariser there. I think, yeah.
Quite possibly, we might be corrected on that. Might have been a fan again. Apparently, the kids are 5-0 up in the youth cup at half time. That's a good start. I think our very own Joe Fairs is representing tonight, isn't he? In the director's box of all places.
Of course he is. Who are they? I didn't even catch who they're playing.
It is a fairly small club, I believe.
Is it Aveley? Or have they already played them?
Might be.
Okay.
There was a quick question on the shape, Seb, before we start talking about goals. Chris Rand asked, was it 4-2-3-1?
I think that's what it is these days, isn't it? I see it. Me and Ben had a chat about it last week on the pre-match show before the Derby game, and I see it as a back four these days. I think it's been that way for probably a good 6 weeks to 8 weeks now or so. It's very much, I think, Donacien and Davis as the full-backs, and that kind of 3 in behind. Ladapo kind of interchange and move around in the game, but that's certainly how I've seen it now for the last few weeks.
Cool. And we've got an answer now. FPL chat straight in there. Aveley. Jules says they're an Essex club.
That's spelled differently, but yeah, okay.
Well, you say it to Jules's face if you want, Dave.
I think Jules has got the correct spelling.
I mean, it's hard to spell correctly on a keyboard when you've got a spanner in both hands, isn't it?
Jules, love him.
So, right, 34 minutes in, we take the lead, and this is a really nice team goal. It maybe gets overshadowed a little bit. We'll get to that one. But, Seb, that was a really nice goal, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, and we hadn't played that well, in all honesty. It was a very kind of sort of tetchy first 20, 25 minutes. They were pressing us really high. They put a couple of crunching tackles in on Humphreys in the first few minutes, especially to try and, I guess, set a bit of a marker. But yeah, it was a great goal. You've got Edwards kind of picks the ball up and looks to run. He was playing a bit narrower in the first half, in kind of a more of a central position, but he picks the ball up and makes a run. And you've got Davis in space on the left, and I guess, well, Rich said to me, that's probably the consequence of this massive pitch. You are going to find space in behind when they try and press out. And Davis, it's a beautiful ball, isn't it? It's perfectly weighted. He plays it in first time. It's the ball in from Davis that makes that goal. And Ladapo slides in, takes his chance, and is rewarded for it. And it was a moment of great quality football that hadn't really been in keeping with how the first, whether it was X number of minutes, had been so far. But that ball in from Davis was absolutely superb. Ladapo could just slide in, tap the ball home, and a beautifully weighted ball into the corridor of uncertainty.
It was just the execution of that goal. It was such a good goal because Donacien brings it inside. if you look at Ball, he has a look. Just as Donatian's about to play the ball inside to him, he has a look at Edwards, sees Edwards, knocks it. And Ball did that a lot, certainly in the first half, or first part of the first. Well, yeah, I'd say most through the first half. When he plays those balls forward between the lines, he zips those balls in, which I kind of like that. There's no half-hearted. He really, really puts them in. And he has a little look. And I mean, it's brilliant from Davis. But it's such. You think Edwards, okay, it's a simple ball, but it's the lovely weight of the ball from Edwards just saying, yeah, go on, there you go. And it's from then on, it's great. And it's really good movement from the Dapo. He checks in, checks out, then goes again, which is really clever. It was such a simple, but a really, really excellent goal, that one.
And 4 minutes later, David, looks like we're on our way to a straightforward victory, doesn't it? Thanks to our young starlet.
Yeah, I mean, it started by Burns, isn't it? A move. I think he nicks it off. Is it Hall, the left-sided player? I think just sort of midway in their half. I think has a run, nothing on. Has to have a hit. I don't think Ladapo's inside, but perhaps a bit too close to slip it inside. And quite rightly has a go. Half decent save, I think, from Stone. Tips it over, and then in swinging, not the greatest in swinging corner, but in a good area. Sort of gets clear, and I think Ball gets a touch on it on the edge of the box. And I mean, this is what Atkins was saying. The technique from Humphreys was superb because he doesn't try to leather it. It's a superb connection. Just hits through the ball, knee over it, and it just flies through a crowd of players. Keeper's got no chances in before he can react. Low to his right. Absolutely fantastic finish.
And Seb, the comment about Atkins that a few of us picked up on was he said that it's a technique that's gone out of the game. Should we just say that it was just an out of this world strike rather than going that far, Seb?
Yeah, very much so. I think, it was a great hit, great technique by him to get it through that crowd. And it's just a really clean connection, like Dave said, and it just flies into that bottom corner. But Ball does really well as well. That, like you said, the corner's not great coming in, and it kind of flicks off. It's either Ball or somebody else, and he's alert to kind of dig that ball over, isn't he? Yeah, exactly. So he does really, really well for that, to set Humphreys beautifully. And then, he just hits it. And what a great moment for him. We're all Town fans. You can only imagine what it's like to, score on your full league debut for your club. It must be an amazing feeling, like we saw at full time.
I kind of get where Atkins is coming from. It's a tough technique, that, because young kid on his debut, 18-year-old on his debut, he's going to get, his eyes must light up. We saw it against early season. Me and Rich watched him against same situation against Cole Yu in the EFL Trophy. We had a couple on the edge of the box, exactly the same. And it's just how maybe he's developed in a few months. He kind of rushed them, and one he sort of shanked, and one he hit over when he really should have hit the target. But that one was, because he didn't try to hit it too hard, and he just hits through the ball. It's a great strike.
Yeah, I'm going to just stand corrected on this one, Dave, because Jules says it's technique, lever it from our day.
Yeah.
And Lee says, nice to see a shot from range, stay down rather than being skied.
Yeah, I think that's what Atkins was alluding to, I think.
Absolutely. Let's finish off this first half. Humphreys then plays in Burns. A really nice ball again from Humphreys, like finesse little half volley pass. Burns takes an excellent first touch and then a really heavy second one, but he's so quick, he just about manages to get there. But in doing so, he doesn't manage to get his shot away very well. The goalkeeper then goes down hurt for what seems an eternity. That one just came straight to me. I hope Mark Beck isn't listening. And that then leads to there being loads of stoppage time at the end of the first half, doesn't it? And we're unable to hold on.
Yeah, we kind of, it's a big switch, isn't it? So they're kind of right backs bringing the ball out. I think it is. It's a big switch out to the left. I guess you could argue maybe Burns should be stronger on the initial header with Massey, I think it is, who manages to flick it on. So we lose one header there. The ball is then a really high looping cross to the back post. And from there, it all just kind of goes very wrong, doesn't it? The guy, that's the best way to put it. The guy gets a bit of a run on Edmondson and heads it back across. Then both Wolfenden and Ball seem to just mess up their jumps and completely miss it out. It falls to Massey, the guy that's won the original header. And Burns, maybe should he be a little bit stronger? A few of us thought it was handball by Massey when he looks to control the ball, but on the highlights, I don't think he is. And he just fires low past past Walton. So, straight away they're immediately up for it. It's a really poor time for us to concede because although we weren't playing great, we found ourselves 2-0 up. And at that point, we were in complete control. Like you say, Burns had a couple of chances and we're looking to kind of find our rhythm. But it was an absolute bit of a horror show from our defensive point of view. You can probably count 4, maybe 5 individual errors there that combined to that goal.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a good cross in the first time. He digs it out really well. I think it's Jones, the fullback. He digs it out quite well. It's a high loopy one, and as you said, I think Edmonton's a bit static there because Worrell's not the biggest, is he? But he gets a really good jump. He gets a jump on him, and I think as it comes across, looking at it again on iFollow, I think that's all on the highlights. I think Wolfenden sort of gets a touch maybe on it and sort of almost takes it away from ball and. Yeah, then it sort of should then we get a better challenge on Massey because he's allowed to sort of bring it down, chest it, and volley it in. But just out of nowhere, it's such a sickener that one because you go in 2-0, and as McKenna said afterwards, it just puts a different complexion on the game.
I felt a bit flat at half time.
Yeah,
after that.
Yeah,
because it wasn't a fantastic performance. Obviously, it was really uplifting the two fantastic goals that we scored, but then.
It's a horrible goal. I think,
and it's the type of goal that makes you feel like you could concede another one through bad defending.
Yeah, and we struggled a bit with the crosses as well. And I guess once they'd scored off that cross, we knew second half was going to be a bit of a barrage of crosses because we hadn't stopped the crosses all game. And yeah, like you said, it kind of puts a bit of doubt in your mind that things maybe might contribute to another defensive clusterfuck later on.
And that. That doubt wasn't misplaced, was it, Dave? As we move into the second half,
it's just so avoidable. This goal. Okay, look, we obviously the back four, back three, back four are all encouraged to play. They are, all encouraged to play out. But yeah, I mean, Wolfenden does overdo it. He could just get the ball out of his feet and get it down the line. That's not our way. And look, it happens, I suppose, but he's a bit careless there, gives away a needless corner, and then it's horrible again as a ball comes in. Again, it's not a great corner, I don't think, and we seem to get in each other's way. And as soon as you let the ball bounce in the penalty area, that can go anywhere. And it's sure enough, I think it deflects off Wilson, is it? I believe. And be fair, again, good. I know he's only like 7-8 yards out, but good from the centre back. Smith, good technique, just absolutely gets his head over it. And again, Walton's got no chance at almost point blank, isn't it? Just what you're looking at and think, how?
And at that point, the crowd goes crazy. They've pulled one back in the 45+6, and they've scored in the 47th minute. And at that point, we're thinking, oh, here we go. We know what's about to happen, but yeah, thankfully we turn it around pretty quickly again.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in the end. So what? Talk us through what does and how the Vale fans reacted to what came next.
Well, obviously, we're all taking dogs abuse off them, 2-0 and you messed it up, etc. So we're taking dogs abuse off them. And then, we play another superb move that results in a goal. So again, it's that left-hand side, isn't it? It's Edwards and Davis involved. So Edwards brings the ball forward and finds Davis. I never clocked, none of us who were sat around me, we didn't clock the run at all from Humphreys. It's a real lung buster from the centre of the pitch. We assumed that Davis was playing the return to Edwards and Edwards hadn't carried on the run. So we just didn't see until Humphreys suddenly appears. Yeah. He's pointing where he wants the ball to go, isn't he? There you go. Yeah.
So this one there. If you look at the edge of the centre circle, just to the left of it, that's when Humphreys starts his run.
Yep.
And then a few seconds later, he's in this position. So he's run away from his man and ran past two Port Vale players.
What a pass! What a weighted pass!
Look at the small little. I think maybe where Edwards' position there actually maybe almost makes that pass obvious for Leif Davis, doesn't he? He has to thread it through. Yeah. He sees the gap, executes it so well, doesn't he? Gets to the byline, cuts it across. I don't know how far you've got now, Seb. Sorry, I interrupted there.
No, Humphreys is pointing where he wants it. Like you say, another beautifully weighted ball from Davis. He cuts it back. We get a bit lucky. The keeper gets a touch onto the defender and it falls nicely for us. And Ladapo is there where I guess you want your centre forward to be, to gamble and take a chance in the 6-yard box. fires it home, and we all go absolutely crazy. And that was really crucial, scoring so early, because after they scored, turning it back on its head instantly, because otherwise we were going to probably start to face a bit of a barrage. The home fans were up, and that just completely silenced them. It was a brilliant moment and a brilliant goal. 3 goals of high quality for different reasons. 2 excellent build-up play involving Edwards and Davis, and Humphreys there, absolutely superb to show that fitness, that desire, to get to the byline, pull the ball back, and Ladapo in the right place to tap home.
Absolutely, yeah. Hit like on this video if you enjoyed that goal. How about that? So let's dip into the comments. Charlie D says Leaf, or is it Lef? Oh, Lee Bayless says Limbs, love it.
It really was, because at that point as well, all the fans all the players are right down there as well, giving it large to the home fans. We're all going crazy in it together, which is great to see.
Yeah, you're spot on, Seb. They needed to score when they did, because the longer that went on, it was just going to get. I mean, it did get quite horrible, but at 2-2, it was just going to be, really. Oh no, one of them.
Lee says didn't appreciate that the keeper got a touch at first. Yeah, it was a vital touch, wasn't it? And where is it? Michael Warner, Ladapo from a non-scoring number 9 to a fox in the box.
And he's gone quietly, isn't he? He's now on 6. I know Pizza Cup is included in that, but he's got 6 goals in all competitions now. So he's joint top scorer with Chaplin. So he's quietly moving his way up the scoring ranks as well. I was pleased for him last night, because 2 goals, 1 in the first half. He kind of just takes a chance and slides it in gambles, and the second one is in the right place at the right time, which is what you want from your centre forward.
Yeah.
Louis Robinson says the amount of ground Leaf or left covers on that left side is incredible. Maybe this is why he quite often goes off. Well, I mean, he hasn't really for the last couple of games, but why he quite often goes off early. It's not a lack of fitness. It's that intensity that he plays at. Maybe partly to do with the footballing background he had with Marcelo Bielsa, as Dave looks for his chocolates.
Charger.
And on that pitch last night, the running was phenomenal, because like I said earlier, it was such a big pitch. We had some conversations in the Telegram group during the day, didn't we, about how big the pitch was going to be, and I didn't appreciate until I was there exactly the size of it. But to be running all day on that.
Do you mean the actual pitch that was measured out, Seb, or do you just mean the grass out in front of you?
Both. It felt like it was an absolutely huge pitch. I don't know the measurements of it. It felt like a huge pitch, and I think they noticed. Harrison, for example, in the first half was really pressing us high, and they really kind of dropped off in that second half. I think fitness and fatigue caught up with them, and the pitch has to play a part in that, because it was massive.
It was funny, because someone, was it Jason? I think it was Jason on the Telegram group, somewhere mid afternoon yesterday, raised a comment, a topic about the dimensions of the pitch, and that was it for about an hour.
Was it Chris Rand that was originally sent down the rabbit hole, wasn't it? And then somebody else was using Google Earth to try and work out the dimensions.
It was superb. But I mean, what we didn't mention, it really did. I mean, the guy, they had a geezer with a long throw who could really launch him as well. And in fact, I thought we dealt with those, because I thought, oh Christ, this is shades of Cheltenham from last season. But I thought we dealt with those pretty well, actually. It was just the corners the corners last night we didn't do too well, and the balls in from wide positions. But the sort of loopy long throws, I thought we did okay with.
Yeah, and he can take such a run up for that as well. The run up he takes for those throws is crazy.
20-yard run up.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it?
It's got to be an advantage.
Imagine how good Rory Delap would have been if he played at Port Vale. Friend of the show, my mate Henry, I was chatting to last night about this very subject, said that we're actually good at defending first balls. It's the second balls where we just seem to. Yeah, maybe having Keogh on the pitch, and a couple of people suggested maybe Keogh would have been in hindsight would have been a good bet last night. Just sort of marshalling that defence a little bit better, a little bit more experience.
Potentially, yeah. And I think when it became obvious we were going to face a barrage of crosses and long throws, obviously that's when McKenna decided to make the change.
Yeah. An observation from McSaucepan as well. He did still about 20 yards up the line. But Jules says up against that, the width of the pitch was perfect for us.
I think he's got a point there. Yeah, certainly the left side.
Chris Rand, here you go. Turns out the pitch at Port Vale wasn't actually that big, Seb. It's an optical illusion. Large grass area, but they've pulled in the lines to a normal size.
I think, as Seb said earlier, it's not actually the pitch. It's just the width of the turf outside of the lines.
Yeah, I think Rich said that you could play have the right dimensions going widthways on the pitch.
Yeah, you could flip it. Yeah, that's what he reckoned. Yeah. You could flip it.
Yeah, he said it a little bit more eloquently than I just did. We've only got to the 54th minute of the game. There's not really much else to say about this match. A few people, I think Chrissy Day said, "Oh, this is going to be nerve-wracking." I don't think it ever really was it? We made a few changes. Harness, John Jules were the first ones to come on, then Jackson, then Keogh, and then Burgess came on right near the end as well.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, was it? It was,
No.
I mean, but hey, you have to sometimes win like that, as we've found a way to do this season, where, as we've said all along in previous seasons, we haven't, and we wouldn't have won that game last night. 2-0 up, seemingly coasting back to 2-2. We probably wouldn't have won that game. So we have found that way. It wasn't pretty, but yeah, bodies on the line and good clearances at the end of the day. And to be fair, did Walton really have much to do after? In that last 20 or so minutes, not really, did he?
No, the only moment I was worried, it was
came and caught a corner or two, maybe.
Yeah, very calming as he always is. The only time I was worried, I think it was like the 90, with a minute of the injury time to go, and it falls to Harrison on the edge of the box, running onto it. Yeah, and I was thinking, no, but thankfully, he reverted to the 2018-19 one. Yeah, and shanks it well wide. Thankfully, that was the only time I was worried.
As a physical presence up there last night, I really quite liked him. I quite liked him when he was here as well. He always had something about him. But again, I don't think he was ever really fully had swaves out with injury and stuff like that, didn't he? But he certainly put himself about last night.
He did last night. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He's a handful, isn't he? And more mobile maybe than Ladapo, but not as good. Not as good not quite with the ball coming into the feet.
I agree. Yeah.
Veronica says, "Glad you didn't feel nervous, Mikey." Well, the thing is, when you're just watching it on the sofa or in bed, as I was, you maybe don't get caught up in it in quite the same way as those of you that were lucky enough to be in the stand.
And also, Veronica, when you're 7 beers down, it just doesn't really.
I certainly wasn't 7 beers down last night.
I can imagine you lounging back in bed with your, I don't know.
Few cans of Amstel around.
Amstel on the go.
Yeah,
Amstel's very much
on your a Tuesday night beer because it's only 4%. So yeah, we saw. Yeah, Veronica was in row A, so she had still quite a long way from the pitch, but decent view all the same. FPL Tractor says that Harrison and Lambert didn't get on. Apparently, I know who I'll side with.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and Chris Robinson, I actually emailed the club on the pitch dimensions. I'll keep you posted, assuming it's not deemed as classified information. Well,
keep it going.
Let's see if you find out before.
Do you know
Chris Rand, who's going up the ground with a tape measure?
Do you know? I think we'll have a big reveal on the live show.
Cool.
There's going to have to be
we can do a higher or lower.
Exactly. We're going to have to do a Telegram group for pitch dimensions now, aren't we? And
although
every game we can.
We can never do higher and lower than Port Vale, could we? Anyway, move on.
Jim Elmy says he was 7 beers down and felt pretty nervous. So, okay. Maybe there was something not quite
Jim,
right.
Probably 4 oatcakes soak that up, though, Jim.
Yeah. Okay. Have you had an oatcake, Dave?
No, and I
just
want
like the sound of them.
No, yeah, I do. Yeah.
So for those that are unaware of what an oatcake is, a Staffordshire oatcake doesn't have any oats in it. It's a dense pancake that has all of the lovely stuff, all the salty, saturated fats, cheese, bacon, ham, all of that stuff. Does sound rather good. Sausage.
Like I said in the group yesterday, Phil Taylor won 16 world titles with that as a strict diet.
Right, I'm gonna ask the viewers and listeners to let us know who their man of the match was, and just a little sentence why. Imagine that Humphreys is going to win this one outright. And I'm also going to share this comment from Andy Nichols. Come on, everyone. These Blue Monday lads deserve a big thumbs up. Hit that like button. We're all listening and loving the work they do. Well, I hope you are.
Nice.
But yeah, if you can hit the like on YouTube, it does make a big difference. And yeah, why not check out the Blue Monday website as well? that's where you can find information or the link to buying tickets for the live show, which is on Saturday, the 12th of November. Drinks at 7. The show starts at 8, I believe. Or it might be 7:30, but I'm sure Dave will come out with beers for those of you that are queuing up outside either way.
Absolutely. Of course I will.
Lovely stuff. So yeah, let's see what's coming into the comments. Davis from Chris Rand. He was brilliant, wasn't he? Just a couple of moments of class.
Yeah, he's just again, not just I thought he defended well as well last night, but he's classing the weight of pass and stuff like that. He's turning into a very, very, very good buy. I think. I didn't think a few games in, I didn't really think there was a lot to choose between him and Lee, and I don't necessarily think they are really rate Lee. Obviously, he's got long-term injuries, so imperative we keep Davis fit. And some people were saying, I think after Friday's game, that he looked out on his feet towards the end of Friday's game. Well, he certainly rallied well for last night, because he was very good. Yeah, he wouldn't be far off it for me. Him, Humphreys, or I thought Edwards was really good last night as well.
Yeah, that's where the votes are going. Jules says Lee for me from our weakest side.
Yeah.
It's now our strongest side. Would you agree with that, Seb?
Definitely, it's given us that other option. Last year, if you doubled up on Wes Burns, you pretty much shut us down, didn't you? Or if Burns wasn't playing, then we really, really struggled. And now it's great. We've got both options, but that left-hand side, the link-up play between Edwards and Davis is absolutely excellent in recent games. He's just a class act. You can see he's been at a Premier League side. You can see he's had a world-class manager in Bielsa coaching him, and what a brilliant buy that is.
I mean, it's going to be tough to leave Edwards out, I think.
Yeah,
really
definitely. Do. So Charlie D, another vote for Leaf. Creative, tenacious, just quality. Veronica goes for Humphreys, so classy and never stopped running.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but you watched it on iFollow, Mikey. Humphreys really struggled. I thought, oh no, this game is just passing him by, and he was getting knocked off the ball, and his first touch wasn't great. I mean, I wouldn't say up until the goals. He started to grow into the game and perhaps land on the ball a little bit more, probably 20, 25 minutes in, but the first 20, 25 minutes really passed
his first two actions, Dave, he got the ball.
He got hit, to be fair.
And he played a nice pass.
Yeah,
and then the player didn't get to him the first time, and then the next time he got the ball out of his feet, played a good pass, and I don't know if the ref had already turned.
He was following the ball.
Bad it was. Yeah.
So in difference to him, that probably was a factor. But yeah, the goal, I mean, like 30 minutes, probably half an hour onwards, and then the goal, he just grew into the game. And crikey, his stamina. I mean, I know he's 18, but his stamina. I mean, 90 minutes he was making superb challenges, and he covered a lot of ground, because Ball towards the end of his game was absolutely out on his feet. I thought
he was, and understandably so.
Absolutely.
Lee says he'll plump for Edwards just to be different. I think that there's a fair shout for Edwards. Watching the highlights back, you realise just how many of the good moments did involve him, and his dribbling. It just takes the pressure off for a little while, doesn't it?
He's just so well balanced, isn't he? I think on either side as well. He looks like he could go right. Obviously, seemingly strong. He prefers the left, but he can go either way. Yeah, I think we've got a player there. Again, I was really concerned that the lack of game time he had last season. Again, a lot of that was injury. You half thought, this is a big first few months of the season for him, because look, he could have turned out like Harper, for goodness sake, and been and sort of disappeared almost. So no, it's really good to see him doing really well and getting obviously he's seemingly fully fit now, so he'll just get better and better.
I imagine Andy Nichols isn't going for Wolfenden as man of the match, but said that he was solid at the back. I don't think it was his best night, was it? But
no, I don't think so. He messes up a little bit with their first goal, where he can't clear it. I don't know if he gets a touch on it. And it was his kind of sloppy play that you could argue gives away the corner for the second goal. So I didn't think him or Edmondson were especially outstanding last night. But they did the jobs, and when they needed to, obviously McKenna throws on the reinforcements of Keogh for some organisation when you're about to face a barrage, and then for the last minute or so you get Burgess on there to do what he does, and
that was
win the header.
That was good to see. That was good to see him back.
Yeah, really good to see him.
Yeah, Edmondson didn't look too happy, did he?
I thought, well, he went down with a like a knock on his head just before the sub, so I presumed he was feeling that or something. So I've seen the stuff online. We didn't look happy to go off, and I don't remember him. I can't remember at the full time if I can't picture him celebrating wildly with the rest of them. But I thought he got subbed because of the knock to his head. Yeah, that's what I thought happened at the time.
FPL Tractor enjoyed the Balls-Humphrey combination as it could have been seen as a weakness before the game, but wasn't. Yeah, how good is it that we can go to a tricky place like Port Vale without Evans and Morsey and still probably arguably come out on top in the midfield?
Absolutely superb. Yeah. Yeah, brilliant. I mean, he did worry beforehand. It was always going to be a tough midfield battle last night, and it was. And it was going to be physical. And you mentioned quite rightly how Humphreys was clattered early on. Clearly, they targeted Humphreys, but no, I thought the pair did really well. I mean, Ball did fade second half, and he was losing possession a fair bit, but overall, I think he did okay. And I mean, what a position to be in. Okay, seemingly looks like we've lost Evans for a few weeks, hopefully just a few weeks. And, a fresh Morsey straight back in on Saturday.
Absolutely. Michael Warner gives a shout out to the team spirit. Yeah, that was really noticeable at full time, Seb, apparently the way the players all got round. Sorry, I'm talking about it as if I was there now, but the players did really get around Cameron Humphreys, and then we all saw the tweets and from Donacien and Chaplin, I think, on Instagram as well, really getting behind Humphreys, really praising him up, weren't they?
It's great to see, isn't it? The team spirit just seems to be through the roof. When Humphrey scores in the first half, I think all the team bar Walton are there, jumping up and down with him. And then at full time, Keogh comes and finds him and grabs him, and they're giving it big guns to the away end. And then you've got, I think it's Chaplin kind of pushes him out to take the applause of everybody. We're all singing Cameron Humphreys, he's one of our own, and the players start dancing around him. And then you see the stuff afterwards on social media they're putting on there to big him up further. And yeah, absolutely great scenes. It really feels like this bunch of players really get it. You really feel like they absolutely love the club. They're all working hard for each other. It doesn't matter who comes in. It doesn't matter who goes out of the side for various games. That team kind of bonding and spirit is always going to be there. And it's a huge, huge strength for us so far this season. Because let's be honest, we've not always been able to say that over the last few years, have we? But this group feels so together. And I guess that has to be, down to McKenna. I guess in pre-season, he probably sat down and said, I won't have a first team. I'll have players that will come in and players that will go out. So they all know the score and they're all working so hard and everyone's getting their chance, and it doesn't matter who comes in and who sits out. It's just the same every week, and it's really great to see as fans.
They did exactly the same with Edwards after the Cambridge game, didn't they?
Yes, yeah.
Sort of pushed him forward. Yes, it's just the togetherness in the squad. You could just see it, can't you? It's nice. It's brilliant, yeah.
And you've got people like Keogh. Keogh's come in and probably played a combined 100, 120 minutes for the club, and at full time he's celebrating like crazy, like he's been there for years. He's pushing Humphreys out to get all the plaudits. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and it's just fantastic to see, isn't it? It's really, really great to see, and long may it continue.
Yeah,
definitely. And with all of this optimism, I think maybe when everyone's playing really well, you do maybe notice one or two players who were slightly quiet. Glenn Cronk says Chaplin strangely quiet last night. Yeah. And he has been a little bit. I know he was obviously quiet against Derby because he didn't play, but he hasn't really reached his sort of levels of September and
I think because his standards then were just off the charts, weren't they? He was so good in sort of like, I don't know, from mid-August onwards through September. So I think,
would you stick with him, Dave? Would you stick with him for Saturday at Charlton?
Perhaps, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think as we know, form is temporary kind of thing. You know the levels he can achieve, and he was so good. So I think it's probably only just been a slight drop off, but because he was at such a level, you do notice it. And I didn't think he was particularly poor last night. He just wasn't involved as such.
Just quiet, wasn't he? Yeah, he didn't really
quiet. Exactly. Yeah. So it didn't have an effect on the game. When he got the ball, he was, I think, as far as I can remember, seemingly neat as tidy as he pretty much always is. But yeah, he just didn't have an effect on the game last night.
No. What would you go with on Saturday at Charlton, Seb? Difficult game. They hadn't lost at home until last night against Milton Keynes. That was like an Ipswich of old.
Bit of a shock result, wasn't it?
Yeah,
very much so. That's a real coupon buster, isn't it? Because they kind of slowly made their way up the table. And I think they were in the playoffs, weren't they, before?
Yeah, they were
before
seventh, I
kickoff.
think.
Seventh.
Yeah.
Seventh, yeah, obviously very
Unbeaten
strong
at
home
home.
form, but yeah, very strong home form up until last night. So that bodes well for us. With regards to a lineup, I mean, me and Rich will try and predict it on Friday night, but we're almost giving this up now because it just seems to, selections are made that we don't call. So I'd like to see Edwards start again because he is looking so good at the minute as an outlet. As to have that kind of player who can run at people, can go either side, deceptively quick as well. I'd really like to see Edwards get a little bit of a run now. Ladapo, 2 goals in theory should keep him up front. Will it? You never know. Jackson tends to start away games, so I don't know. I can't call it. We know that Morsey will come straight back in alongside Ball. Humphreys will probably have to drop down to the bench. The back 4 or 5, however you see it, will pick itself, and then it's just that front 3, isn't it? We'll see a bit of rotation. I'm sure. Does Harness come back? And I think he might rest Chaplin again, and maybe I'll go with Harness, Edwards, and Ladapo up front.
I think perhaps you're right. I mean, crikey, it'd be tough to rotate Ladapo after. I know he scored 2 for a combined 3-4 yards, but even so, I don't think you can rotate him for. And I'd pitch him in against Charlton. They're missing. Who are they missing? Innes got sent off last night.
Red card.
That's a plus as well. So no, I think perhaps you're right. Chaplin, it wouldn't surprise me if he went with him again, but Harness would be his natural replacement, as Seb said for me. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we talked about Charlton there. Let's have a look at all of these results. I'll try and get you back on the screen here, Dave. I'll cover myself up. Barnsley, well, a bit of a shock result there, but Lincoln, from those 3 games, they played Ipswich. Who did they play? Ipswich away.
Sheffield Wednesday.
Sheffield Wednesday at home.
Yeah. And then Barnsley.
Barnsley away, 7 points.
Yeah.
That 1-0 defeat isn't looking so bad now. Bolton, I think they might have been losing at some point against
They
Burton
were 98th minute winner.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's starting to happen for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bolton. Milton Keynes winning 2-0, as we mentioned, at Charlton. Cheltenham beat Morecambe, big result down at the bottom. Derby, obviously tied from last Friday.
Did you see Warren's reaction afterwards?
Yeah, not happy. No, it was almost a
Paul
Cook reaction, wasn't it?
Yeah, Paul Hurst after the Exeter game. Yeah, what did he said last night? If I've had to go at the players, if they don't like me, they've got my phone number. They can come back at me or something. It doesn't sound very happy. I assume he's realised that squad can't play his kind of football that he wants. I guess.
Not a very harmonious dressing room, I don't think.
It almost sounds like one of those Facebook statuses of old, where people say "annoyed with a certain someone," and they know where to find me. Right, Peterborough. Comfortable winners over Accrington. Plymouth came from behind to beat Shrewsbury. Bit of a shame, that one.
Yeah. And they were all, at one point, it was incredible. We were 2-0 up and everybody else was losing. Seriously, everyone. Peterborough, I think, were 1-0 down for a time. Certainly Plymouth were 1-0 down for a good part of that game. I think Bolton potentially also were losing. Pompey may have even been losing as well. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, Portsmouth scored quite a late equaliser. Colby Bishop scored. Yeah. And Jack Lancaster scored a really nice goal for Cambridge away at Wickham.
That's a great
really good result. Yeah. So that leaves the top half looking like this.
Looks good, doesn't it?
Right,
looks really good.
We'd take that, wouldn't we? God dear.
We should probably start doing extrapolations again, shouldn't we?
We had this chat on the drive home last night. Yeah, me and Rich were saying that we need to bring it back because I think we're on for 100 and I think he worked it out 102, 103 points as it stands at the moment. But we won't jinx it.
Yeah. No, that does look good. All right, Chef Wed's got the game in hand. Supposing someone hasn't. I assume it's 0-0. Someone hasn't.
Yeah, it's still 0-0. There's been a few updates. Chris Robinson says Bristol Rovers doing okay so far. I think.
No, it's looking very, very, very good, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. Let's just get rid of that one. There we go. Yeah, these are the good times. Let's enjoy them. Let's dip back into the comments. Romeo, watching Wednesday on telly. Bannon is seriously good. Everything goes through him.
If they were to lose him, if they were to lose him for an injury, they'd really struggle, wouldn't they?
Yeah, well, there'd be a big drop off. I might say I got slaughtered for saying mid-table, but there would be a big drop off with that. Big drop off with that Bannon.
Yeah, Howard DK, looking at the table and the teams near the top, I think only 4 teams still have a sniff of finishing above us. Plymouth, Sheffield Wednesday, Peterborough and Bolton. Bolton worry me, dark horses. Yeah, they just seem to... They were good against us, well, fairly good against us opening day, weren't they? And yeah, they're getting late goals, the type of thing that teams that stay up there do. 1-0 Wednesday. Yeah. There we go.
Ball bags.
Louis Robinson, Plymouth almost double over their XG currently. Surely that's not sustainable. They score some absolute rockets,
crackers. Yeah, screamers from outside the box, as we found out against us. Yeah, you'd like to think, hopefully, over the course of the season, that'll start to balance it out and they'll drop off slightly. We basically just need Schumacher, Mumba, and Whittaker all to go in January, don't we? If they could all move on to a different club, that would be ideal,
isn't it? You know, so who's to say? Someone said on the Telegram group today, and new manager comes in at Norwich, wants to take a look at Mumba, Swansea struggling for goals. No brainer, really.
Hopefully, be nice, wouldn't it?
Hopefully, yeah.
Just changing the subject slightly, David Pascoe, are we enjoying the way that Norwich appears to be listing into their own version of the death by 1,000 cuts, both on and off the pitch, that we suffered under Evans? Didn't see this one coming.
No, not like 3 or 4 weeks ago when they're obviously in the middle of their 5-game winning run or whatever it was. Here we go, 12-game winning run, going to be 10 points clear at the top by Christmas. Same old. Absolutely, it's falling apart.
Long may it continue.
Yes.
I think that'd be the first time if we were to go up and they stay down. I think if we went into a derby next year, it's probably the first time in years I might feel a little bit confident going into it. Because normally you think, oh no,
you wouldn't on the day though, would you?
No, true. Apparently not on the day. No.
That game last night was absolute dross. Apparently against Burnley, I think there was like 4 shots on target all night. It was horrible. Apparently, Jules, I think we know how you feel, Jules. We feel the same.
Yeah, we feel the same. Yeah, apparently that Sheffield Wednesday goal was in first half stoppage time. Still plenty of time left. Joey Button, get the lads in. Right, and I'll give a final shout out for questions. Eric Clacton says Norwich are starting to look sleepy. Yeah, a first mid-season finish for about 7 or 8 years would be really welcome, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And they're not happy with Smith
Charlie
at all.
D says Wigan are in deep trouble. Yeah, Lee Bayliss, believe Wigan players have not been paid again. Wonder if they're struggling financially.
But Richardson signed a new deal yesterday, didn't he? A new 3-year contract, I think. But I saw that earlier on social media that I think it's 3 on the bounce 3 times so far this season. They've been late paying their players, so worrying times for them. But Richardson must be quite confident if he signed the new deal. I guess he must have reassurances and stuff.
Absolutely. Would you take Will Keane if he's looking for a club in January, Dave? Vultures that we are.
He's class, isn't he? Yeah, and very much proven at League One level. So, yeah, I think so.
Dave Gore, is it out of the question that we amass more points away from home than at home come the end of the season? We've won 6 out of 8 away this season.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah,
potentially. Yeah, absolutely. Just because, as he said last night,
we've been Sheffield Wednesday and we've been to Plymouth, haven't we? But we've obviously still got to go to places like Bolton. We've still got to go to
Fratton Park and stuff. Yeah,
Portsmouth. What do we going to expect with a 20,000 stadium and only get Mikey Mouse Club? Wow. Yeah, don't think Jules is feeling Wigan too much.
No.
Yeah, I can't really see too many other questions down here. I think it's just...
The away from home thing's interesting, isn't it? Because maybe they feel a little bit. I mean, Portman Road with 29,000 people in must be a little bit overawing sometimes. So potentially away from home maybe is that pressure off a little bit. And there's a bit more freedom, and without being disrespectful, like you said, we've been to probably the 2 hardest away games so far. So in theory, maybe Oakwell and Fratton Park aside, we've got a pretty decent run of games to come abroad, and maybe they just find it a little bit easier. They've got amazing backing on the road, but you don't quite have to, have that ferocious atmosphere that a full North Stand and the pressures that can sometimes bring, maybe.
And we look good on the counter as well, don't we?
Yeah,
very.
Looking ahead to Saturday, Dave, Burgess for Edmondson. No,
unless
keep
he's
the back four.
unless he has got a knock and he's not fit. No, I don't see that yet. No.
Would it be? It would probably be Keogh, wouldn't it? If
I would have thought at this stage, I would have thought so. Why sort of if Edmondson's fit, why, or you quite rightly said, Keogh's fit, why risk Burgess just yet? No, I think you've got perhaps nurse him along a little bit more. But great to see him just have 3 minutes last night, and I think he did put in a really good challenge. I think won a throw out of sort of nowhere. So yeah, it was great to see him back.
I guess he'll be penciled in for the Bracknell game when you want to use that to get some minutes into the likes of him and Kamara and stuff. Use that as a bit of a chance to get some minutes in the legs of those that haven't really featured recently. I mean, that shows how happy McKenna was with Ball and Humphreys last night. He could have probably given Kamara 15, 20 minutes if he needed to, but he didn't need to, given the performance of how well that central midfield got going after the first kind of 20 minutes or so.
And Kamara could be the best of the lot. He
could
easily be just can't believe it, really.
Chris Rand, great stat. We've won 100% of the games against the current bottom half. That's fairly impressive stuff, isn't it?
Someone did post, was it yesterday, the sort of like points gained from the promoted sides and the sides around the bottom half, and it was like plus 23 already. It's something ridiculous.
It's great, yeah. The difference compared to the same kind of sides last year, it's an incredible turnaround, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Does the quiet November league-wise mean we can get a few back fit? It's going to be hopefully we can give a few of those youngsters and fringe players a run at Bracknell for a start.
Yeah.
You wouldn't risk too many first teamers in that one?
I wouldn't have thought so, would you? No, I wouldn't have thought so.
And I presume there'll be a Pizza Cup game in there somewhere as well that we can do similar and get even more minutes into. It's only Cheltenham and Exeter, isn't it, in the league in November? So they're touch wood without being sounding arrogant. They're not the hardest of games either. Exeter might be a bit tricky, but you'd expect hopefully certainly to beat Cheltenham and then get a decent result at Exeter and use the cup game to get minutes in those that are missing, who've been missing recently, or give minutes to those that have been injured and stuff.
Has a pizza draw been done yet?
No, I think the under 21. Some of them haven't finished. The Premier League under 21 side, I think, are still. I think there's still some to go. So I think it's got a couple of weeks maybe till we find out the draw, and I assume it's sometime in November, given how sparse the league schedule is.
Yeah. It's a home game. That's definite, isn't it? I think.
Yes, because we won the group, didn't we? And it's still regionalised, isn't it, at this stage? So it stays southern apparently.
Wembley, here we come. McSauceban, I wonder if JD is playing himself into us looking at right-sided centre-backs in January over summer. I don't think so. He's not getting forward quite as much, but I think he's still looking solid defensively, isn't he?
Yeah, defensively spot on, isn't it? It's just the formation change, I guess, that results in him not bombing on as much when he was the...
But if Vincent Young's injury is worse than feared, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone in the youth team that's like jumping out in that position.
I just don't see it. I don't see where Donatian's dropped off much at all. You're right. Obviously, going forward, yes. I think that was noticeable Friday as well. But I think, as you say, that's probably a formation thing. But I think defensively, by and large, he's just been as good as ever, hasn't he? Pretty much.
For me, he's always a solid, isn't he? He's always worst case, he's kind of a 7 out of 10.
Outstanding player.
Yeah. I really like him.
Pizza Cup's scheduled for 29th of November.
Where will you be then, Mikey? What will you be doing?
I'll probably be sat in a heavily air-conditioned office in Doha working 15 hours.
Here we go. Heavily could.
Can you hear the violins playing for him?
Oh, dear. God,
I did look at the temperatures earlier, and I didn't realise that it's still like 34 degrees over there.
Oh, mate, it's going to be boiling. So you actually... I guess come back Christmas week. Wow.
Yeah. Actually, funny enough, I'm going up to Stoke for a wedding on the Tuesday before. So maybe I'll do a stadium tour at.
They serve oatcakes.
Yes. That's what I'm going to do, Dave.
Take your tape. Get an oatcake and take your tape measure.
Yeah. Jules says, "Are you taking your clubs? I'm probably going to have to rent some, aren't I, for night golf? They'll probably be a bit small."
Oh yeah, night golf out there.
Romeo said, "Just moving away from me and moving away from golf." JD, one of the first names on the team sheet for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Captain last night as well, which I thought was interesting because in the past it was Edmondson, wasn't it? Last year, if Evans and Morsey were both out, but it went to JD last night, and I really like him. Like Dave said, I think he's an excellent defender and so reliable.
perhaps one of the biggest rehabilitation of a players I've ever seen go pass through Ipswich Town. A player that
I thought that
just
last night when
remarkable.
when Harrison was playing, I thought I wonder who did Harrison play with, and obviously he played a bit with Wolfenden, and I remembered Donassi, of course. And I wonder whether he looks at Donassi and thinks, "Bloody hell, how come you're still here?"
Yeah,
Just
because I think they both
incredible.
had their debut in the same match, didn't they, against Blackburn, and
Yeah.
Donassi had a bit of a stinker, didn't he, that day? But
I think he was centre half, wasn't he? I'm sure he was centre half alongside Chambers, and Spence was the right back. And poor guy then played at left back for a while, and then wing back roles. And three loans away from the club, and crazy.
But to see him play now, to see him back play, then you just never thought he had it. You never thought he was that technical a player, did you? Just didn't. You know, maybe his role obviously changed in the right wing back when it changed, but it's just an incredible transformation in a player.
Brilliant stuff. Right. Thanks everyone for watching and listening and everything. Seb, you'll be back with the pre-match show, I believe. Is that going to be on Friday?
We're going live, Friday night. So we'll be at 8 o'clock. Me and Rich, I presume Rich is doing it with me. We'll be live for Charlton. I must say a thank you to FPL Tractor, who's sent me some amazing Charlton research today to make my life a little bit easier. So tune in for the lowdown on Charlton before the game on Saturday.
Excellent. And just clicking on the wrong ones. Dave Gort says, I'm clicking on the wrong thing again. Youngsters win 9-0
brilliant.
in the
in front of the fairs in the director's box. Of course, they were inspired, weren't they?
Brilliant stuff. A great week for the town once again. Let's hope it continues at Charlton on Saturday.